Hello everyone, I'm Master, and welcome back to my response video for the Q&A. Now that I can only see a couple of questions on here, so this will be very short. I may very well do this again when I've got more tutorials on the channel. But for now, let's just get things over with, and yeah. Okay, so Crescent the Wolf says, are you planning on doing a tutorial on hacking the special stage layouts? And are you planning on learning more about Sonic 2 assembly hacking so you could do tutorials on that in the future? Right, okay. Special stages. I don't really edit. I haven't really edited special stages before myself, actually. Yeah, I know, surprising. There hasn't really been many special stage programs, or at least there's not been many or many good ones as far as I know that allows you to easily do that. I used to use a program called ESE that basically edited the entire ROM, including the special stage, and you know, it's good for the special stage. I guess it's good for layout at the time. Anyway, it was good for layout at the time, and palette and stuff, I suppose. But you know, nowadays it's just better to work with its assembly, honestly, than that program. But I did have a quick look up, and there is one program by Mercury, literally just titled the Sonic 1 Special Stage Editor. And I haven't really looked into it too much. It seems fairly simple. It seems like you can just open up a layout of a special stage in Sonic 1. I think there's a Sonic 2 one as well. And then you can just kind of edit it there. The only thing that I could see that you can't do is edit Sonic's location. So you know, you kind of have to open up a layout wherever 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever one you want. You know, you do that, and then from where you can see that would be where Sonic is at the beginning, you have to kind of mold your special stage around there. And it looks like the window box is too small, I guess. Like it's basically zoomed in so you can see it clearly, but because of that, it doesn't show you the entire layout. So people are basically saying you can only do a short layout because you can't go past a certain part of the screen. So you open up, say, layout 1, and it cuts off, and there's no way to scroll down and have a look at it. Apparently Mercury just had a problem, and he couldn't, you know, get it to work. But apparently it really is just as simple as opening up a layout and just, you know, it might be that it might be very small in terms of special stages because of the limit that Mercury's program has. I mean, in ESE, if I remember correctly, it was zoomed out, so you could see all of the special stage. Now, I don't know how difficult that would be, but I would have thought that Mercury, being a tech member, he probably would have thought of that, or maybe even tried that. But I don't know. I don't know how difficult it would be to zoom out so you can actually see the whole special stage. But it's probably, let's say, I doubt it's as simple as that. I haven't really tried it myself, but if you want to try it yourself, feel free to go over to Sonic Retro, go into the info page and go into hacking. I think it's under hacking and programs. So you look into the Sonic Hacking Utility programs, and right at the bottom under MISC should be Mercury's Sonic 1 Special Stage Editor, and try working with that with split assembly. You literally just open the program. You go into the special stage layout folder. I don't know if it has to be uncompressed or compressed. There's basically a special stage layout U and a special stage layout. Choose whatever one, I guess, and then just have a go yourself. As for doing a special stage layout, I don't see why not. I don't know when that will be. It'll be a while most likely, unless I just decide to just kind of slap it in if it's really simple. But I'd have to look into it because, like I said, I haven't really looked. Whenever I do hacks, I try and finish all the level layouts first for the hack before I go on to special stages. But of course, I've never done a hack where I've finished everything, so I never go into special stages. I don't like really just kind of like half completing a layout and then moving on to something else like a special stage. So I don't, you know. I mean, someone could just want to edit special stages. You know, there's people who do that are like, oh, you know, let's just do a hard Sonic 1 Special Stage or something, or let's just do Sonic 1 Special Stages remastered, and that's it. That's all they want to do. So I can understand it from that point of view if you want to start from there and or something. But really, I'm the kind of person, I kind of learn as I go. I Most of the time I don't tend to just stop and play around with one thing and stop and play around with another. If I'm going to make a hack, I want to make sure my level layouts are done, my art is done, all that and that and that. And then I'll eventually go into special stage layouts, but I haven't really touched into that myself, ironically enough. So I need to have a go, but you know, from what I can see, if Mercury's editor is simple enough, I'll probably just go off by that. So yeah, I would say yes. I wouldn't want. You know, unless there's a better special taste that I don't know about. Yeah, in the future. Don't know when, but in the future. Now, the other question. Sonic 2 assembly hacking. I can't say I would, but I can't say that I wouldn't either. Never say never, as they say. Best thing I can tell you is maybe or eventually. Because I'm nowhere near done in terms of Sonic 1 hacking. And what you have to realise is that I'm really busy as it is, as you can probably tell, because I don't upload that much on this channel anymore. It takes time for me to learn everything and making sure I get everything right, because obviously if I get the tutorial wrong, then I'm giving out misinformation, and then people moan at me. Granted, people still moan at me and still think that I've done the tutorial wrong, but I know I haven't, because I double check these things beforehand, so I know they've just made a mistake along the way. It happens. I've followed tutorials and I've made mistakes, but the first thing I don't do is complain to the person who did the tutorial and say, your tutorial doesn't work, and everyone's like, it worked for me. Yeah, it worked for me, worked for me, worked for me. Did you have to do anything? No. You obviously just followed it wrong. It's not always the case, of course. And like some of the tutorials on Retro are arguably outdated, you know. But for the most part, for what they're trying to go for, they should work if you follow it correctly. But anyway, you know, as for Sonic 2 assembly hacking, I'd say maybe, eventually, possibly, but that's gonna be a long time. That's not gonna happen anytime soon. I've got so many more tutorials to do on Sonic 1, and like I said, I'd have to find the time to actually go into Sonic 2, and I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to say that I won't, because you never know. I'd like to try and keep, you know, trying to help out, but that's going to be a very long time, to answer your question. So, you know, it's a possibility, but just don't get your hopes up, because it takes a lot of effort for me to do this. A lot. You know, I ain't the smartest guy in the hacking community. This stuff is hard for me, and that's why I try to do these tutorials, because I think, oh, if it's hard for me, I'm sure someone finds it hard as well. So let's try and do these to help out. You know, I have a hard understanding of things. But what I can say a bit about Sonic 2 hacking is that, you know, you can use Sonic E2 with Sonic 2 level layout. You know, you can do that. Difference is the chunks are like 128, which means you've got more customizable. You know, you can do a more customizable layout, I guess. You've got path swappers as well, so you can do, you know, you switch Sonic onto one path to another. So that's cool. You know, some of the codes is similar to Sonic 1 as well, because Sonic 2 is literally built off of Sonic 1, if you guys have seen Sonic 2 beta. So there's that. You can kind of go in between things. That's how I ported Super Sonic at one point, was because I could basically convert most of, like, I knew what most of the things did in Sonic 2 based on Sonic 1, because there was like a label system, and I was like, okay, and I eventually managed to port. I mean, this was years ago. This is when I was still learning, and I managed. Super Sonic was the first thing I think I ported from Sonic 2 to Sonic 1, and it really wasn't that, you know, really wasn't that, you know, tricky. So you can apply some of my tutorials in a way, I guess, just with like a Sonic 2 equivalent stuff. You know, like obviously you saw that I had the title Sonic, and I imported that from Sonic 2, and that was from the Sonic Genus assembly. You know. In theory, and all that jazz. You know, so a lot of things can be applied, so it's not too impossible for me to not do a tutorial on Sonic 2. you know, I still have to go over differences. Music would be a more tricky thing though with Sonic 2. I still don't understand how the hell that works. If I'm honest, I don't know. I'd have to have a tech member, someone who really knows what they're talking about with music, would have to explain it to me. Otherwise, I would have no idea. But yeah, best thing to tell you is that, you know, it's definitely, you know, eventually, not going to happen anytime soon though, I'm afraid. Now the last guy, I can't read his name because it's like a different language, so I apologize for this. But basically he's got like a picture of Sonic, like Sonic 2 or something, text in the icon. But he asks, I want to make a Sonic 4 episode 1, can you help me? Well, I can't help you directly if that's what you're asking. I don't have time to work on people's projects. And, you know, I'm kind of with the community, even if I was free, you have to prove to me that you can do the work yourself. I'm not here to do the work for you, because so many people take you for granted and use you and be like, oh, you know, can you help me? And you think, okay, I'll give you a hand as long as you're doing something. And then they just kind of want you to do everything, and it's like, no, I ain't, like, let me tell you a quick incident that happened before. Basically, someone was like, I want to make this, I want to make this, I want this to happen. Now, I don't know how to do this and how to do that, and I think this, I don't have time to do all this or some crap, I don't know, yada yada yada. It's like, I'm offering to pay for someone to build this hack for me, and everyone went through the roof. You know, we don't take money, we don't do this for profit, this is just for fun, you know what I mean? And normally when people offer cash for things like that, the community just gets very, 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 very defensive, very angry, very upset. That's not the kind of thing we promote here. We promote you to work on things yourself. Saying something like, I don't have the time. I don't have the time. I still try and make time, even if it's like a half an hour, an hour, of me just doing level layout, and I ended up doing nothing. The amount of times I've wasted where I'm trying to figure out how to do something, and then I just end up not doing it or scrapping it. But I have to kind of fail to learn. You know what I mean? You learn from your mistakes. You know, it gets harder and harder and harder. But I still like doing it when I can, so I still keep doing it. But anyway, that's an example where, you know, that was frowned upon. That wasn't very good. People are like, no, I'm sorry, we don't promote that sort of stuff. Now, if you want suggestions, I guess if you want suggestions, I can do that. But like I said, I'm busy anyway, so I don't have time to help people directly. I can give you suggestions. I mean, let's say Sonic 4 Episode 1 isn't really original. It's based off of Sonic 1 and 2 anyway. So, I mean, Splash Hill Zone, it's just basically Sonic 1 or Sonic 1 and like Green Hill Zone and Emerald Hill or whatever. You know, it's really not that difficult. And kind of just, you know, do some checkerboard squares in Green Hill Zone or something. You know, and then you've got, I mean not in Green Hill Zone, sorry, in Emerald Hill Zone, and you've got Metropolis Zone already in Sonic 2, which is Mad Gear Zone. You know what I mean? You know, it's Sonic 4 Episode 1 isn't original, really. It's not. It's supposed to be a tribute, if anything. They say a continuation, but it's more like a tribute as far as I'm concerned to like Sonic 1 / Sonic 2. You know, you've got bloomin' not Labyrinth Zone. You know what I mean? I mean, okay, there's some, you know, there's some different gimmicks and stuff, but for the most part, it is Labyrinth Zone. You know, you know what I mean? So you've already got assets that you can use to make your own classic Sonic 4 Episode 1, I guess, if you want. But if you're new, you really want to do this, I would start learning like how to do level layouts and stuff first. Or if you want to start with sprites, maybe look up a sprite website so you can find maybe a sprite that sort of looks like Sonic 4 Episode 1, because you're not going to get that exact sprite anyway. But maybe you can get like an edited Sonic 3 sprite or something, I don't know, or an edited Sonic 2 sprite. I wouldn't be surprised if someone's already doing a Sonic 4 Episode 1. I'm not surprised. You know, I've already heard like Splash Hill Zone, the SMPS version, like I don't know how many times, because people keep using it because that's a public track. You know, things like that. You know, you could port your own MIDIs and convert it to SMPS and all that jazz. You know, but start simple. You know, start simple. Choose a game you want to work on. If you want to work on Sonic 1, work on Sonic 1. If you think Sonic 2 would be more beneficial, because you've basically got Death Egg Zone, you've got Metropolis Zone, you know, things like that. And maybe you'll import Labyrinth Zone or something. I don't know. Maybe you convert Aquatic Rune over. I have no idea. Whatever you're you know, whatever you wanna do. And you've got Casino Night Zone as well, which is pretty much I can't actually remember what the level is of Sonic Pro Episode 1, but you know what I mean. And go from there. But start simple. If you're gonna go for level layout, go for level layout. If you're gonna go for sprite editing, go on my Sonic Map ED tutorials and replace Sonic sprites. And then once all that's done and they're all working completely, then you can then go on to something else. You need start for something simple. That's the best way I can describe it. Anyway, guys, I think this is long enough. Maybe I'll do another one in the future. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you for being patient with me. And yeah, probably, but I'd say by sometime next year, tutorials will be back to normal. Thank you for listening, and I will catch you guys next time.